Looking to scale your preclinical imaging annotations without spending hours on manual segmentations? Let me show you how Gesund.ai's 3D annotation module gets you from raw scan to labeled structure in minutes, not days. In this walkthrough, I'll guide you through navigating the annotation interface, using AI-assisted tools for bone segmentation, splitting complex volumes into individual structures, and isolating and labeling specific anatomy in 3D. Hi everyone, I'm Sumir Patel, Chief Medical Officer for Gesund.ai and radiologist at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. Today, we're going to go through our annotation platform. From our home page, you'll navigate over to the Annotation tab. In here, you'll see various projects you can choose from. We're going to go ahead and choose our rat fetus project, and we'll click that. And then we'll open the project using our 3D viewer. As the project loads, you'll see various tools that you can use at your disposal up in the toolbar at the top, such as window level, where you can window and level to your desire. For this example, we're going to be annotating all of the bones in this anatomical sample. Now, instead of painstakingly painting over each of these bones individually, we can use an AI-assisted threshold tool. So our brush tool that we have here, we can pick threshold, and we can pick from a bone preset. And let's say we want to edit that preset a little bit to include a little bit more anatomy, change that lower margin from 400 to 350. We can preview to see what that looks like. And now we see the red outline over all of these bones. We can say, oh, okay, that looks pretty good. We can apply. There we go. We can see it here as well. We can apply that. And our volume for this segment 1 jumps from 0 to 111.8 cubic millimeters. Now that's great, and we can see what that looks like in 3D. Here we go. All right, now we have all of our bones that are outlined in red here, but we want to separate all of these different bones out into their own different segments. So how do we do that quickly? Well, you can take our split tool, islands, split. We'll change our voxel size to 50 and we'll execute there. And now you'll see our volume will drop down from segment 1 to back down to 0. And we'll see multiple different segments here that we can choose from. Now for this example, let's say we want to just look at the scapula. So let's find where the scapula are in this example. Okay, here we go. We see one here, and we see another one there. And let's put both of those into their own label, their own segmentation label. Now, we want to find out which of these segments corresponds to the scapula there. And so in order to do that, we can pick our Select Segment tool that you see here. Simply hover over the anatomy. It changes color to the color of that label and highlights green, as we see here. We'll select it. And then we'll do the same thing with the other scapula. It'll highlight orange, just as that anatomy is, and the segment will highlight in green text. We'll click them both, and then we'll select a label to transfer them to. Let's segment 2, and we'll transfer them over. A little confirmation box, and we'll transfer. And you see now our segment 2 volume jumps from 0 to 7.76 cubic millimeters. Now, if we want to see what that looks like in 3D, we can close everything else out and only view segment 2. Click our 3D box, and here we have our 3D scapula. Thank you, everybody, for listening. That is our 3D annotation module for Gesund.ai.